Hey guys, Pogosick29 here. Welcome to episode number 44 of my Bukkit plugin coding tutorials. In this episode, I'm going to teach you guys how to make guns. Basically, you can bind an item as a gun, and when you right-click with it, it will shoot a bullet that will do damage to a player when it hits the player. Before we begin, I just want to mention two things. The first is not too much work has been getting done on DevMonkey because I don't really have any PHP staff. So if you know anyone who is good at PHP and you want to see this idea succeed, please contact me or have these people contact me because we're not really getting anywhere right now. The second thing is that I am nearing the 500 subscriber mark, which on YouTube is a very big achievement for channels. So in honor, I wanted to do something very special. So I came up with the idea that when I reach 500 subscribers, I would make a live coding video where on live stream or some other source, I would sit down for a few hours and code a plugin, and you could join by clicking the link, and then you could watch me live code, and you can chat and ask questions or request features. So if you guys think that this is an interesting and good way to celebrate the 500 subscriber mark, let me know in the comments, and also let me know what you would want me to code. It can't be something too big, but it can't be something too small. I would probably spend, sit down for an hour or two and do it, but I would only do it if enough of you are interested, and I would have an audience watching the coding. So, on that note, let's go ahead and move on to our guns plugin. So, for the case of this, we're going to go ahead and say that iron shovels or iron spades are the guns. So, whenever you use an iron spade, it is a gun. So, let's go ahead, and first we want to make the event. We need two events. We need one event that handles firing the bullet, and we need another event that handles the bullet hitting a player or an entity and doing the damage. So we can go ahead and allow guns to implement listener, and just go ahead and do that. And then we can go ahead and make a public void on player interact, and this is a player interact event. And by the way, I don't believe I mentioned this in the beginning of the video, but I'm trying an initiative. It's August 2nd today. My school starts in a little over a month, so I'm going to attempt to put out one video every day until school starts. This won't be the case for every day, but I'm going to try my best to put out at least 5 or 6 new videos every week. Hopefully 7 a week, or even more if I have time. So let's go ahead and continue. We have our player interact event. And first we want to say if exclamation point e dot get action equals action dot right click air. So if they don't right click the air, then we want to stop, return, and there we go. Okay, next we need to go ahead and say if exclamation point e dot get item dot get type equals material dot iron spade. So if it's not an iron spade, then we can return because it doesn't really apply to us. So if we do have the iron, so if it right now we know that they right clicked in the air, and we do know that it is an iron spade. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to fire the projectile. In this case, we're going to use a snowball. You could potentially use any projectile you wanted. So I believe that those are all the checks we need. We can go ahead and say e.getPlayer. What is it? I think it's shoot. No, it's fire. Oh no, sorry. It's launch projectile, and you just need to go ahead and give it a any class that extends projectile. In this case, snowball. So go ahead and type snowball.class. And that is all that you need to do. It will go ahead and launch the snowball. Now you will notice that when I call launch projectile, it will return a snowball. So I can say snowball s equals launch projectile, and then I could say s dot, and call different methods on it. That's especially helpful if you shoot a fireball. Then you're probably going to want to make it that it doesn't explode, which you can do. In fact, I'll make it a fireball so that I don't get a bunch of comments of people asking me how to do it. So fireball f equals, and shoot a fireball. We can go ahead and say f dot set is incendiary, like false, so it won't be on fire. And I believe we also want to do set yield to 0. So that should take care of the firing. So now we want to say at event handler public void on entity damage, and this is an entity damage by an entity event. So what we want to say is if e.getDamager instance of fireball in this case. If you chose to use a snowball or whatever, then you would put in whatever class you chose to use there. So if it is, we can go ahead and say fireball f equals fireball e.getDamager, because we know that the damager was a fireball, so we can safely cast. Next, what we need to do is we need to say if f.getShooter instance of player. So if the shooter of the fireball is a player, then we can say player shooter equals player f.getShooter, because it normally returns a living entity, but if the shooter is a player, then we can safely do the casting. We can then say if shooter.get item in hand .get type equals material.iron spade. So if the item in the shooter's hand is a iron spade, as in so if the shooter is holding the gun, then we can safely assume that they did the shooting. We can go ahead and say set damage to 10.0, which I believe should do 5 hearts of damage. So that should be good. Let's go ahead and register. Alright. Oops. Alright, there we go. One other thing, right now, this is set to work on any entity. If you wanted to work it with just players, then you could say if exclamation point e.getEntity.getType equals entity type.player. So if it's not a player, then return. But I want this to apply to all kinds of entities, especially for testing. So we have our very simple plugin.yml. So we can go ahead and export guns. Very nice. Now let's go ahead and start up the server. And let's see, it should work. Very good. Alright. Looks like the Minecraft launcher updated again. I don't know. It looks like it's downloading some stuff, but oops, let's just go ahead and... Alright, well, looks like it is downloading some stuff. Should be done in a second. I'll just go ahead and pause the video. Took another 20 seconds. So, now we have Minecraft. So, let's go ahead and log in. Looks good. Now let's, so here we can use for testing. Let's go ahead and grab an iron spade. Very good. Now, if we right-click, you will see that it shot out a fireball, which hit the cow and killed it. It did not, see, when I go and shoot a fireball, it does not burn anything. But it does still kill the mob, or harm the mob. And yes, I do believe that that is it for this video. You guys learned how to create a gun, you know, with an item that when you right-click, it will shoot a bullet, and the bullet can properly damage the entity that it hits. One other thing, you can check, you might not want this to apply to globally to all iron spades, maybe just iron spades with the name gun. So you can check the item meta of the item and make sure that it is named gun, and if it is, then you can go ahead and do that. So that's all for this video. As always, subscribe if you want to see more. Comment with what you want to learn. Comment if you're interested in the live coding 500 subscribers special, and what you would like me to code if you are interested. Yeah, if you can think of another way to celebrate it, you can also comment with that. And if you know anyone who is good at PHP, please contact me. I will see you guys, hopefully and probably tomorrow, with another video. Bye.